you're trying to write a novel, especially a novel that's it's in a series of books, one of the things that I want to do is to try and elaborate on who this character is. And there was a whole area of this guy's life that I had never really explored, although I discussed it. And it was the area that he had been left as an infant in a hospital and was subsequently an orphan, did not know who his parents were, and had been raised in a place called the Huntington House Group Home. I'd never dealt too much with it, just sort of that it was the beginning of his life, that he was a guy with no roots, with no understanding of who his parents were, so he sort of started from a really ugly place. So I created the following setup for this novel. He's at home with his wife Alexa, who is his boss. She runs the detective bureau of the LAPD. He is a homicide detective working out of Homicide Special, which is the elite homicide group. And they've set their vacations to coincide, and they're going to go to Hawaii for 2 weeks. And as they're packing and kind of playing around in the bedroom, she picks up the phone when it rings, and it's somebody named Diamond Peterson, who is working in the office at the Huntington House Group Home. And she notifies Shane that a guy named Walter Pop Dix, who had been the director of the home, kind of Shane's surrogate father, the only guy that he had ever really invested in him as a child and had really put energy into his life, had gone out into the backyard 2 nights ago and blown his head off with a shotgun. And he had left a note asking for 6 people to be pallbearers, and Shane is one of the selected pallbearers. The pallbearers are really an interesting group of characters. To run them down, there's a 55-year-old Hispanic attorney who's basically a gang attorney. He's getting the very guys that are being put in jail by the LAPD out. His name is Sabas Vargas. He was a gangbanger when he was a kid, and he was at the group home. He's the oldest of the bunch. There's a woman named Victoria Vicky Levicki. She is an accountant. She looks like a kindergarten teacher. She's got red hair, kind of cut in a bob, and freckles across her nose. She carries a 9mm bulldog in her purse, and she is somebody you do not want to mess with. But she's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. There's a character named Diamond Peterson who works in the group home. She's an African-American woman, about 30 years old. She has all of the information about what was going on at the home when Pop died. And she's sort of the character that doesn't seem to fit. She's sort of maternal in a way, and not an offbeat kind of wild person like the rest of them. There's a woman named Siriana Cotton, another African-American. She's 6 feet tall. She's 25 years old, and she's headed back for her 2nd tour in Iraq. And then there's a guy named Jack Straw, and Jack Straw is actually an ex-convict. He's got prison ink all over him. He looks like Tommy Lee. He's handsome in a kind of a sleaze bucket sort of way, and a minute Shane looks at him, he knows he's a crook. And these 2 guys start off absolutely hating one another, but he turns out to be a really remarkable character in this novel. So they are completely different kinds of people, different ages, different sexes, different racial characteristics, and yet at the end of the day, they are a family that solves this case. So I hope you guys will pick up The Pallbearers. For me, it was a terrific book, fun to write, and what's I think wonderful about it is it gives you an opportunity to find out who this character was when he was a little boy, and it helps you to understand who he has become today.